What do you know about the Division?
I was Division, as they are. As you were.
No.
But like you, I ran.
No, don't play games with me. Just tell me what I did, what I don't remember. You really think I'm gonna trust a creature like you to tell the truth?
We're both trapped, Doctor. We have to trust each other.
So you're telling me the Division used weeping angels as operatives to do its work?
Division uses everything and everyone. Every species, every world, every moment. They are everywhere, present and unseen. Division is unstoppable.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty good at stopping the unstoppable.
That's why I brought you here, Doctor. But I think this may prove too much even for you.
Then you need to get out of this human's body right now.
No, not yet.
They're here. They know where you are. Claire can't protect you anymore.
But you can. You stop them, and I leave her. I let her live.
Leave her first.
No.
What makes you so dangerous that they would need so many? What do you have that they're so scared of?
Knowledge.
What sort of knowledge?
Of everything. All Division. All of its history. Including you. I hold everything. Including the memories that were taken from you. That's why I brought you here, Doctor. You protect me, and I can give you what you're looking for.
Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, with me, Matthew, and as always...
Hello, I'm Scott.
Hello, Scott. We are covering the latest episode of Doctor Who Flux, The Village of the Angels, if I'm remembering that title correctly. We had some debate over it last week.
Sounds about right, yes.
And I think, in all, possibly this is my favourite episode of Doctor Who Flux so far.
It definitely is mine as well. It's nice and simple, but yet still complex enough where it's not too simple.
Whilst building on pre-established Doctor Who lore with the angels and making them actually seem pretty interesting to me. And you know, for it was an episode with like a billion angels, but I didn't feel the tension leave the room at any point whilst there, because you know, you get the issue with like the Daleks and the Cybermen. As soon as they add in like, here's 100,000 of them, you're like, cool, this isn't a threat.
Yeah.
But I found the angels to be very, very compelling in this episode.
It was a very claustrophobic episode, and that kind of like leans on the fact that this village is kind of claustrophobic in the first place. Like, to jump ahead a little bit, this village is like on the end of like Earth, whatever.
Also, I would like to point out we are now 4 episodes in.
Yep.
And Yaz still done a solid 0 things across the episodes.
She did act like a police officer for like 2 minutes in this episode, where she's like, "Okay, where was she last seen last? Where did she like
the police car for about 2 minutes last episode as well?" But she's done nothing so far, which is really disappointing because she's the continue-on companion and also the worst companion. But has like she just hasn't done anything. She's just kind of going around the place, going, "I don't like this Doctor." Grr.
Yeah, we'll get to her when we get to her. There's not much of her in this episode. She has like one subplot, and she's not very active in that.
Like every subplot she's had, she's a absolute blank slate this season. But the episode opened up with Claire. Do you remember who Claire was, Scott? Because it took me a moment.
Oh no, I certainly remember. She was a woman from episode 1. Yeah.
She was the woman that went, "Oh, doctor, you told me to come this way. Why don't you remember me?" And we were all like, "Oh, it's a timey-wimey thing." And they're doing like a time loop sort of. No, they're not.
Okay, so firstly, she never said, "Why don't you remember me?" She says something along the lines of, "I'll see you again in the past if that's accurate," because she's seen these visions and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to
feel
see
like
the
she
doctor
said,
in the
you
past."
said, "Take the long way home."
Yeah, I don't know what "take the long way home" means.
So like the whole time she was having visions of the doctor and it's not a timey-wimey story, it's a visiony story.
Yeah.
That was another thing that gets revealed. Psychics are canon.
Yep. Well, no. I mean, it's the angel that's projecting all the psychic things.
But I mean, the way the doctor described it was the angel appeared because of her psychic powers. She like manifested the angel, and the angel latched on through her psychic abilities.
Yeah, I forgot about that aspect. Yeah.
So I mean, it was already pre-established canon that the Doctor was psychic. You know, through the Doctor movie, and the modern day Doctor's done it several times. But I think this is the first time humans have showed psychic abilities that are proven to be true in Doctor Who, and not just a villain in disguise. You've written, she has a seizure, gets possessed, there is no time, etc., has villains. And then she goes, Angel has the TARDIS. And we cut to the intro credits. And I'm guessing that's her psychic powers kicking in just for a dramatic intro. It really didn't play into much of anything.
Yeah, I presume it's the angel trying to communicate to the outside world, being like, "Oh, the doctor's here and stuff," and she's like, "Oh, I don't know what these visions are. I'm just going to explain things out loud."
Yeah, but she's getting experimented on by a old white dude, so you know that Chibnall's going to write him well, and he did, because I really liked him. I don't remember, he had a weird name that the doctor made a Scrabble joke about that I appreciated.
Yeah, his name is Jericho.
Yeah. He was nice. I liked him throughout the episode. He started off a bit iffy, like he was just this pompous dude, but then, you know, throughout it, he was like, "No, I'm a soldier, and I will do this, ha ha ha." And I ended up really, really liking him. But the Doctor in the TARDIS with the Angel is where we go after the intro credits, and she kind of just gets out in a really unsatisfying way, I thought.
Yeah, she kind of uses these electrical wires and puts them together, then the angels all vanish. I'm not really sure of what the hell happened.
Yeah, she was like, these are the cables that should never touch, or maybe all three of us shouldn't touch, and it'll do a thing. And then she just zapped them together, and it was like, this will solve the problem scenario without really needing to explain what it is. But it launched them into 1964?
So it's basically like the things from Ghostbusters, the streams. Don't touch the streams or else they'll explode.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Tomb of the Cybermen. You know, when the Doctor used the copper wire to as a guard against the Cybermats.
Vaguely.
I thought we were going that direction, just the Doctor using an electrical guard against them, but then we disappeared.
No, it was just a zappy thing to make the angel go away, and it did go away. And the TARDIS ended up in their the thing of the in 1964, and it gets revealed later on in the episode that it's like a quantum displacement sort of village out of time thing, which I really, really liked as a concept.
Well, 1967, Matthew, pay attention.
There was like so much going on. Yeah, we open up with they come out of the TARDIS, and we see an old couple that I didn't like at all, trying to call the police on the telephone, and they all come out, and they're like, "Oh, were you just in there?" And this is where Yaz remembered she was a police officer briefly, and did absolutely nothing with it again. Like Chibnall has to be making fun of us at this point, surely. You have Yaz coming out of the police box and someone go, "Are you a police officer?" And you do nothing with it.
Also, the Doctor can smell time periods now. She kind of sniffs the old man. She's like...
I like that, though. That plays into like previous times where the Doctor's licked something or, you know, done something weird and been like, "Oh, this is what this is." Like,
I just think the whole telling times by all the senses is ridiculous. Like, oh, she's tasting dirt now. Now she knows it's 2018. Okay.
That to me, it's like pre-established. Like Matt Smith's Doctor used to lick things all the time, and David Tennant's Doctor could do things like that as well. Like, it's pre-established.
I just think it's too quirky. It doesn't make sense. It's just too quirky for the sake of being quirky.
You're right. Jodie's Doctor has too much personality. They should really dial it back. I really liked her Doctor in this episode. She had a line or two that she said that really made me laugh.
Can you repeat them?
Nope, don't remember them at all.
Quality silent writing there.
Then there was a scene with an old woman and a preacher, apparently. I don't remember this.
Yeah, the old lady is like, oh, count all the stones, preacher man. There should be 92 there, but you'll find out there's 93. And then the old preacher counts all the stones and sees 93rd stone. And then he gets zapped back in time. We never see him again.
Yeah, if there's one thing that we really appreciate, it's gravestone maths.
Gravestone math and soil counts.
It's all you need in Doctor Who. And then we got a shot of Claire. She was like in the bathroom, and she starts what we assume to be hallucinations. I assumed it to be, and it really played into this throughout quite a bit. Do you remember? Although I guess technically it is the same thing. In the Angel episode with Amy, when we first get the image of an angel becomes an angel rule, and she gets the angel in her eye, and she starts turning to stone. That's what's happening to Claire throughout. And we see when she looks up in the mirror, she has really foamy looking angel wings. They didn't look great.
I made the Amy connection as well. I pretty much wrote it down in the notes, as you'll see a couple of paragraphs down. But yeah.
I do see it. You've highlighted it for me so that I can read it as well. But yeah, I made the Amy connection as well, which the Doctor never hinted at. Which I get you don't want to call back all the time, but why not? Why not just go? I've seen this before.
It did kind of bother me how long Claire took to tell the Doctor that she was turning into an angel. Like, that's information you should tell her straight away.
Also, she tried to hide it, and then in the very next scene that she's in, she's like, "Oh yeah, this has been happening to me, by the way. I thought I should tell you this." Like, why did you try to hide it before if you weren't building up to anything?
Yeah, I just hate in any kind of fiction where there's something really, really important and life-threatening. And people are just like, oh, I'll keep that till later. I'll just keep it a secret or whatever. It's like in Walking Dead, whenever people hide their bite. Like, but that's kind of dangerous, my dude.
Yeah. I've just realized in the notes that you've split it into the story section. So we're going through the Doctor and the Angels and then Yaz and that. I didn't pre-read this before we started recording. So I was reading through these and I was like, did it really take this long for Yaz's and Dan's story to kick off? What?
I thought splitting them up would be best, just to keep us focused on one storyline.
Yeah, so Yaz and Dan were... the angels surround Jericho's house and things like that, and they all run into the basement basically after some dirt falls out of Claire's eye and she sweeps it away, as we said. And that's where we get the revelation that Claire is a psychic and had premonitions, and we're not doing a timey-wimey whiminess. They set up the TV as a security monitor, which as soon as that happened, I was like, that is a bad idea, Doctor. Because, the image... And then she even, in the same scene, is like, the image of an angel becomes an angel, by the way. But I'm going to set up this TV monitor because...
Yeah, I mean, it does help in some way, because otherwise we'll just be breaking the door automatically.
It helps get exposition out, for sure.
It also helps them save time. Like, the angels would have broken down that door immediately, whereas now... we're trying to break through TV, which takes more time and energy. And the Doctor can think of a plan, which is a decent idea, I guess, but... Yeah,
I suppose, given the circumstances, the risk was worth it. But when she did suggest it, I was like, I remember one of the lines that I was like, oh, that's a fun Jodie line that I like. When the drawing of the angel that Claire had, and she throws it into the fire... and then it comes back and
Yeah.
it's on fire, and she's like, "Oh, it's on fire now. Good job." She's just saying like that. And it's like you're making things better. Well done.
Yeah, I really liked the whole drawn thing. So I don't know if you've seen an angel turn into a drawn.
No,
also-
and it turns out that it comes out as like a projector.
Also, all the drawing things made me think of human David Tennant in the Human Nature episode. Like
The
when he
drawing,
just-
the drawing of the TARDIS really made me think of that.
Yeah, and then I was thinking about because also I remember in the Next Time trailer, Dan is like, "Oh, look, there's a scarecrow over there," but then it turns out to be a weeping angel, and Dan is just blind.
Yeah, it was just a weeping angel going. "Meh." Claire told the Doctor that the village disappears in 1967, and that it disappeared also in 1901. So there is some timey-wimey nonsense, because also later on, 1901 and 1967 crashed together in this. What I literally said it a few minutes ago. Quantum displacement that
Yeah.
they've done to this village with the villagers. So I assume in reality the village is still there, just nobody lives in it anymore, and these people are in like a, say, hell version of their own village.
Also,
Cool idea. It's a cool idea.
yeah. Also, I'm surprised this episode takes place in 1967 rather than 1963. It would be like 2 days before Doctor Who premieres, and we could have had a fun inside joke to that, but it never
Or
came.
1969
Nice.
because of the moon landing.
Oh, not nice. Well, yeah, that could be interesting. Just seeing the Silence invasion and the Angel invasion taking place at the same time. That'd be
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, the Silence invasion happened in 69, didn't it? Nice. Old couple find crumbling, like, yeah, so the old couple, I, again, didn't like them. They're walking through looking for their great niece that's gone missing. That involves the Dan and Yaz storyline. They're walking through the woods looking for her, and they get to a point where the road ends, and in front of them is the empty vastness of space, which to me brings up a lot of questions, such as, did nobody notice when the post didn't arrive? As nobody left to go to the supermarket. Yeah, I guess it's the 60s. I don't know how prevalent supermarkets were, but the post is a big thing back then, I'm sure. But yeah, nobody's left the village before now. But the old people.
Yeah. And then the old man thinks it's a prank because he sees a weeping angel right behind him. Sorry, you just saw the edge of the universe.
It's not. Don't worry about it. It's just clearly not real. Don't worry about it. This angel, that should take our focus.
Also, the whole force field kind of thing reminded me a lot of the demons with the small village being taken over by a force field.
Yeah, I can see that. And it had a stone angel in it, our boy Bok.
Yeah. Oh, I love
And it
Bok.
also had a graveyard in a church where somebody gets murdered at the start.
And also had somebody throwing shit at it. Like Dan throws a stick at it, like the Doctor did in The Demons.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Oh, I love Bok.
The one thing that I didn't quite like with the angels here, in this scene specifically with the old couple in the woods, is the old guy touches the angel and he gets zapped. We've never ever seen that before, where someone is looking at the angel, touches it, and also the person gets zapped. Because even later on in the episode, people are like touching and moving around the angels and not getting zapped. But this one old dude touches the angel and gets zapped whilst his wife is looking at the angel.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but I guess the angels in the later scenes were like, okay, I don't want to touch people here because we need to capture the Doctor or whatever.
Yeah, I guess, but
whereas the old couple were just basically like cannon fodder.
yeah, it was the only thing with the angels that I didn't like, was that they zapped this one dude while someone was looking. That was the only thing I didn't like about the angels in this.
See, my only thing I didn't like about the angels is coming later when they start communicating to the Doctor and, well, not the Professor in his voice.
See, I like that. I feel like we've seen that before. In the Matt Smith episode with Amy, isn't the angel communicating in some way via the speakers? I feel like it's happened before. I don't feel like it was a new idea. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I dreamt it.
But did they communicate in somebody else's voice?
I don't remember. But
Like we're going down the angle of all the angels can mimic voices now, but later on the old man does become an angel himself. So I guess it's him in the future from the past.
Maybe he had psychic powers as well.
Perhaps.
And the angels are psychically linked, because if they can attach into somebody's mind via psychic connection, then they must have some form of psychic abilities as well. So if the man is even a little bit psychic, they could read his mind, get his voice, and go, we sound like you now. That is an explanation, I suppose.
Yeah, that's entirely possible, and this would have been a big problem of the episode with me, but there's 2 episodes left. They could easily explain it, so I'll wait and see what happens.
I feel like it was already pre-established canon, but I'd have to go back and watch every modern Angel episode, most of which are bad.
I like how you say modern Angel episode as if there's classic Angel episodes. There is no such thing as a classic Angel episode, my dude.
Yeah, there is. Blink. That's a classic Angel episode.
Oh, Blink is available on Who Watches Who, wherever you listen to your podcast, by the way. Good episode we did.
Yeah, so then Chris Chibnall had clearly been playing Death Stranding, which isn't a reference I assume you're going to get. But so Death Stranding is a video game created by Hideo Kojima. It is very, very good. Where you play as...
Is that the one with Norman Reedus?
Norman Reedus and his baby fetus. Yeah. It's very good. I played it over the summer. But the whole concept of it is... It's kind of vague if it's the afterlife or if it's inside your head. But basically, if you die, you go to a beach. And, it's like this eternal beach inside your psychic or inside the afterlife or whatever. Especially in the main plot, you're talking to your sister, who's also the president. It's a weird game. It's a really weird game. But the whole concept of the beach setting while something weird was happening really reminded me of Death Stranding. But the Doctor's inside Claire's mind via psychic connection, talking with the angel, and we got some really, really interesting lore stuff, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that too, yeah. The Weeping Angels being part of the Division, they're called, yes. I keep on wanting to call them the Foundation. I'm not sure why.
Both are generic names.
They really are.
Yeah, so the Division use every single species, it turns out, including the angels, to work for them. And that this particular angel left and is on the run, and has information about every single version of the Doctor that the Doctor has forgotten about, that was working with the Division, and why they left the Division, etc. And then the Doctor snaps back to reality as the old man is like, I threw a glass at you because I need your help. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, the whole scene with them on the beach I thought to be some of the more compelling stuff of the episode.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like also, again, a villain who's kind of a good person, apparently, maybe? Not.
Well, it's somebody that you think is a good person but has sinister intentions because, as it turns out that they're double-crossing the Doctor to save their own ass. With a pretty fun little twist that I didn't see coming.
But also the angel says the human is his sanctuary, which is what Belle, the girlfriend of Jacob Anderson, is looking for. That's what she said last week. She kept on referring to a sanctuary, but so it's probably.
I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that the old man who has the floor plan of his house pinned up in his basement has never once looked at it, because very clearly on the floor plan there's a secret tunnel behind this wall, because the old man's like, the angels are breaking in through the door, we're doomed. And the Doctor's like, no, there's not. Look at the plan that's on the wall that you've never looked at, but presumably put up there. There's a hidden tunnel there. And they run through the tunnel. And I thought the tunnel was actually some pretty good little horror-looking stuff.
Oh yeah, just all the Weeping Angel arms poking out of it. But before that, the Doctor puts the head pieces on two of the Weeping Angels, and she says, reverse the polarity of a neutron flow, which I got very excited about.
Yeah, I thought, as soon as she said it, I thought you would get excited about that. Also, something else so far, we are 4 episodes in, And I think Jodie has used her sonic screwdriver in these 4 episodes more times than she has ever used it before in the past. It's like every 3 seconds she's pulling that thing out.
You know, I weirdly used to notice it all the time, but to be honest, I don't think I paid much attention to it this week or any of the past episodes this season.
She's been using it crazy amounts, man. Like, constantly, she is just Sonic and stuff.
And I'm usually the first person to notice and complain about the sonic screwdriver, but I guess I just feel it hasn't been used in a lazy way, if that makes sense. I feel like in the past it used to be used just to cover up plot holes or just to move the plot along, whereas here it feels natural.
I suppose I just find it weird because before she never used it, and it's like they remembered that she has a sonic screwdriver. They're like, "Oh, we've got to sell a few more of these toys. Get Jodie's doctor to before she leaves use her sonic a bit more." They're running through from the Angels in this spooky tunnel. Jericho, the old guy, gets touched and is super calm about the whole thing. Where he gets zapped back in time to 1901, and he's like, "Oh, hello, little girl, nice." Wait, what do you mean we're in 1901?
Yeah, he only notices like, "Oh, it's daytime now. What on earth?"
Yeah, he really was pretty nonchalant about the whole thing. But then the doctor goes, like, she's like the last one to try and escape from the Angels, and she's like, "I've got no choice, I have to turn my back here." And you know, at this point I was buying into the tension. I was like, the doctor's going to get zapped, and then she turns her back. I was in 2 modes. I was like, either the doctor's going to get zapped or the doctor's going to go sonic speed again and somehow move faster than a weeping angel, which we know move faster than we could ever possibly think because it's in a blink. But no, she turns her back. She runs and she's totally fine. She looks back at the weeping angel that's just kind of watching her, and then that's when the bits of "ooh, this is interesting" kicked in, where the Angels don't want to zap the doctor, and she wants to want them to go through the wall, do it.
Yeah, they managed to make a weeping angel not moving kind of scary. That's something we've never done before. Just a standing still weeping angel.
Yeah, it was very, very, very good. But the doctor went on all through the wall, and I think we should maybe flash back to Yaz and Dan's adventure before we talk about that finale.
Yeah, because they eventually wind up intertwining paths. So yeah, it's best to go back to this very small Yaz and Dan subplot.
Right, so you said Yaz shows off police skills, which we've spoken about, but then you did like a shocked face, but I didn't initially see that as a shocked face. I saw that as a :0, as if you were grading her skills.
That is a fair assessment of her skills. She only asks like 2 questions, like where does she like to play and where was she last seen?
Yeah, so Yaz and Dan in this episode do basically nothing, and then the episode kind of ends.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a point where a weeping angel is coming at them. Dan initially thinks it's a scarecrow for some reason, and then they're like, "Okay, don't blink, don't blink." There's a point where Yaz looks up at the moon. There's a point where Dan looks at
that was
something
another.
else.
That was like episode 1 again when the lady. Oh my god, she's in this episode, Claire. When Claire is like, "Don't blink, whatever you do, don't blink, Claire," and then immediately turns her head. Yaz, don't blink, don't blink. Oh, the moon! Like,
Yeah, just when I'm like, oh yeah, she's smart in this episode. She's showing off her police skills, and then immediately she looks up at the moon. Okay.
yeah, that was dumb.
Also, the weeping angels can apparently move clouds as well.
They can do whatever they want. I feel like it was more no, because they're quantum displaced. Remember, like they're in a fantasy land that the angels control, basically.
True. Got a good point there.
But they zap Yaz and Dan back to 1901, where they end up in an abandoned house. Dan asks Yaz too many questions. She gets annoyed. Taste of her own medicine. I honestly don't remember that happening.
Okay, so Dan is like, okay, where are we? Are we going to be stuck here? Who are the weeping angels? What's going on? And then Yaz is like, okay, shut the fuck up, Dan.
Yaz has such a short fuse, doesn't she? I don't remember that happening.
I'm just like, okay, now she knows how it feels to be asked too many questions. My God.
Yeah. But they meet a little girl, the little girl that's gone missing that they've been looking for. And she's like, everybody's gone from this village. Also, space is outside. Which it is. Then they walk outside, and then the old couple that were walking down the street that were like, oh, space is just a prank.
Just a prank, bro.
Yeah, they show up, and they're like, how's it daytime? That's the most confusing thing that we've experienced today. As a weeping angel appears in front of Dan and the rest of them, and they're like, yo, don't move. Please don't get in front of that angel, because then you'll be trapped. And the old people are like, huh? What? Why would we not move? It's just an angel, huh? Even though it literally just zapped us back to the daytime. We're super confused about that.
They literally have to shout at the old couple for like 30 seconds, just being like, no, don't move. Don't walk past the angel. Don't do this. I mean, just keep on moving. Like, the old man at one point is just like, look here, Sonny Jim, don't you tell me what to do.
Yeah, it's... The old couple sucked. As
Also-
did a lot of the storyline with Yaz and Dan.
Yeah, also it's implied the old man is abusive, so yeah, it's good that he died.
Yeah. Also, that was weird as well. That was a weird angel lore thing that I don't know if I liked it or not. So they walk in front of the angel, and the angel grabs the old guy's jacket, because it's an angel. And then it zaps the old guy and the old lady. And instead of sending them back in time, they crumble like stone, because the angel never sends you back twice. But why would they hunt you I guess because they're in the quantum realm and these angels are just kind of messing with people. But why would the angel ever need to send someone back twice? Because once they're displaced once, it's then just a yum yum yum, give me all the time energy, please.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's because the angel's like, what the fuck? They're telling you not to move and you're just moving. You're too stupid. I'm going to kill you.
You guys are bad characters. I'm just going to kill you off. Also, while we're talking about Dan and Yaz, what do you think about Dan's performance, about John Bishop's acting?
I don't think he's the strongest actor, but I think he's likable enough. He's not terrible.
Yeah, I think he's a bit wooden. Like,
Yeah.
he says everything kind of with the same inflection and the same almost monotone sounding voice. I do like him. He's got a natural charm, especially Dan himself, because he's a pretty fun character. But I do think the performance isn't super strong.
Yeah, this is like his first acting role, and I think he deserves more of a character like Nardole, whereas here he's kind of like in between the dramatic and comedic, much like Catherine Tate was. I think
Catherine Tate had the range for it, though.
Yeah, Catherine Tate had the range, and he doesn't, which is no fault of his. It's his first acting job. He's good enough. He's better than that young girl, that's for sure.
Yeah, but she was like 6. Like, it was just, I thought it was really noticeable when everybody was shouting at the old couple, and then like Dan shouts at the old couple, and then we cut to the old guy shouting back, and I'm like, oh, the old man's acting, jeez, like,
Yeah.
there's emotion on that face.
But I wonder if it's like a directing thing as well. Maybe the director wasn't as good as getting a performance out of him, whereas another director could have gotten out a brilliant performance from him. You just never know.
Never know, but yeah, I don't dislike Dan or John Bishop. I definitely think doesn't have the greatest range of a Doctor Who companion so far. They end up basically walking a bit more, I guess, to a piece of land that's split down the middle. One side is daylight, one side is nighttime. And on the nighttime side, it's the 60s, and on the daytime side, it's 1901. And then an old lady appears, and the little girl's like, "Oh, it's Mrs. Crunkleschnuff." And the old immediately, and you've written this in your notes as well. I was like, "That's the little girl."
Yeah.
It's a very obvious little plot thing. But there was just a line that the old lady said that really confused me. She walked up and she was like, oh, "I remember this."
Yeah.
I remember the strange old lady. And I was like, what do you mean? You just said her. The little girl just said your name. She knows who you are. Like,
That's a good point. I never picked up on that.
but yeah, the little girl grows up into the old lady. So I guess that time advances in the quantum displacement town.
Yeah, there's like I don't know how any of this works. I don't know if I guess we're using the flux to do this somehow. But
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, it's not really explained about what the fuck is going on.
Jericho winds up here. Yeah, this is where Jericho ended up zapping, and he's like, "Oh, the little girl that was missing. Awesome. I'm not worried about where I am at the moment." But this is where the two stories connect, as the Doctor goes through the wall, comes out, and she's in the 60s part of it, and she's like, "Oh my god, yes, everybody, I'm gonna go run up to this wall." And they're like, "Don't, Doctor, you'll explode." So
Yeah, that seemed like a very out of character moment for the Doctor, just to run up to like a fucking wall.
yeah,
Without
like
testing it
a
first.
very visible sci-fi wall.
Yeah, like going back to the demons when there was a force field, he threw a stick at it or whatever. Like
yeah,
Really?
Like, just check it first.
Yeah.
But
just throw a bit of a stone at it, whatever.
yeah, we then see that behind the Doctor is basically it's a village of angels. Oh my god, I figured out the title. As they're all standing there with Claire and Claire standing at the front speaking for her angel that lives in her mind, being like, "Oh, they're gonna get me, Doctor, or come out." And the Doctor's like, "Oh, we'll devise a plan, don't worry, come out of Claire, keep Claire safe, and I'll negotiate a peace." And they're like, "No, we've already agreed a deal to keep me safe. They're gonna take you instead." And the Doctor's like, "Oh, but what?"
Yeah.
As she suddenly starts turning. They say something about the division. They go, "You are recalled," or something.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor starts turning into stone. She turns into an angel, which was a cool shot. But if the division have been looking for the Doctor this whole time, why didn't... And the only thing they needed to say was, "You're recalled." Why didn't they do that the first time they saw her?
That's a good point. Like, yeah, when we were in the TARDIS, we could have just easily gotten her at any time.
Yeah, but...
Instead, we were more preoccupied by.
They wanted to tell a
using the
good
TARDIS.
story while they were doing it. They were like, "This will be compelling."
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
But
point.
yeah.
I never thought about it. He
Yeah,
had the
but the
Doctor the entire time.
Yeah, but the Doctor turned into an angel, and it looked very, very cool. It was a very, very cool twist that I never saw coming. Can't wait for her to get out of it immediately.
Yeah, that CGI effect was pretty damn good. I think it's the best looking effect of the season.
It's one of the better looking effects. The only thing that didn't look great was the wings coming out of her back.
Right. Yeah.
The wings coming out didn't look great, but the rest of it looked good. And the Doctor standing there as an angel, as we pan out, is a very, very cool looking shot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since we've seen the Doctor transform into like another alien or be possessed in some way. So I'm
You know
excited.
what this reminds me of?
Yes.
Christopher Eccleston's Big Finish box set. The second series of it, when he gets turned to stone on that planet, and he has to spend like 50 odd years or whatever in the stone.
You mean the box set that we covered on this show? You can listen to that episode wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I do mean the episode that we covered on this show of Christopher Eccleston's second Big Finish box set, where he gets turned into stone and has to deal with a psychic dude and a robot, and it's very, very good.
Yeah. My new box set is coming out soon. I can't wait. Probably this Wednesday, I think. Maybe.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Nice.
Very nice
but yeah,
indeed.
The Doctor turned into an angel and we cut to credits, but that's not the end of the episode, because this whole time we've also been experiencing the short film following Bell for the second time, and I don't think that this week it was as good.
Yeah, this week it feels even more disconnected than ever. Because the rest of it, I expected this to be just one big continuous story about Weeping Angels. I didn't expect it to be interwoven with Bell's storyline. And also, the episode did a mid-credit sequence. The very first mid-credit scene of Doctor Who, I think.
Yeah, it felt very tacked on, didn't it?
And it kind of ruined the thing of a
cliffhanger.
great cliffhanger, yeah.
Yeah, but Belle's story is she's still trying to look for Game of Thrones man, Jacob Anderson. And then she bumps into the In-Betweeners man, whose name I don't know either, but the tall one.
Dude, I just wrote it down. It's in there.
Not his actual human name. He's not called
Okay.
Namaka in real life.
He could be. He could change his name after this, you know.
Maybe he loves the role. You're right. But he was kind of flirting with her, and then she's like, "I'm looking for Jacob Anderson. He's my lover." And he was like, "Oh, well, we're all going over this place to get transported off the planet because this place has been destroyed by the Flux." What is the Flux, you ask? We're not going to tell you yet. Anyway,
Also, Mr. In-Betweener man looked at the hologram of him and was like, "Oh, is that your brother? The black man, and you're an Asian woman. Is that your brother?"
they're aliens. They're aliens, dude. You don't know how race works on their planet.
That's a good point.
They're alien. They're not human. So, but they go off to this huge crowd of people that are getting escorted off the planet because maybe Jacob Anderson will be there. I really liked the reveal that it was Swarm Lady, who had a weird name that I don't remember.
Oh yeah, like that moment, you just feel hope, like being like, "Oh my God, there's a chance for survival for all the existence in all the galaxy." And it's the Swarm Lady, whatever her name is. What's her name again?
Something weird, like it's like banana. Or let's find out. Azure.
Okay.
Yeah, so Azure shows up, and immediately you're like, "Oh no." Well, I was like, "Oh no," and then I went, "Oh no, none of the characters in the scene know who she is." Which actually added a bit of tension for me, where I was like, "Are they gonna kill Belle? Is that where we're going with this story?" But Belle figures out pretty quickly that Azure is evil when the passenger shows up, who is the prison body guy with the really cheap looking mask.
Yes. He kind of looks like a CW villain.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think you can buy that mask on Amazon. Like, it looks. A friend of the show, Ewan, when we were in college together, he made his end of year short film was about a superhero.
Oh yes.
That superhero wore that mask 100%. Like, it is almost exactly like that mask.
Yeah.
But whatever. Belle saw that and was like, "That's not safe. He's like an endless prison. Like this, it's like hell. He takes you to hell, basically." And she pulls In-Betweeners man away. The whole time he's like, "Oh, I don't want to go." And then when she's explaining it to him later, and he's looking really, really sad, just a line popped into my head that like would have made me really feel for In-Betweeners man. They never did it, but I would have thought it would have been very tragic. Is if he just muttered something like, "I sent my daughter off there."
Oof.
Like,
Yeah.
if it's like he put his daughter first, and that's why he missed it last time, is because he shoved her so that she could get taken. Like, that would have been just some tragic character development for him.
But Matthew, that would require subtle character work that
Sure,
Chibnall
that would-
apparently
that-
isn't capable of.
That's true. That would require somebody to try to write something. That. But I would have thought that would have been a nice little bit of drama.
Do you think this is the end for Mr. In-Betweeners man? Because I think he'll probably come back.
No,
Right.
he does nothing in this episode for this to be his guest spot. Like,
Do you think he's only in this show because Mr. In-Betweener man from last season invited him onto it, just being like, "Oh yeah, Doctor is fun." I was
there was
in
an
an awful.
In-Betweeners guy in last season?
Yeah, it's the other guy with the green hair. He didn't have
Oh
green
my
hair.
god, yes, there was. Yes, there was an In-Betweeners guy last season as well, wasn't there? And also in the Husbands of River song, it's got Taskmaster. What's his name? The guy that plays the big shouty robot. He's a comedian. Greg Davis.
Yes, okay.
And
yeah.
he was in In-Betweeners as well.
I thought you meant Mr. Taskmaster from Marvel.
No, Taskmaster from the
Okay.
TV show Taskmaster.
I've never seen Taskmaster.
Oh, it's great. It's very good. But yeah, she's like, "Oh, it's a hunting ground," where they're basically, that was the line where it's like, "It's a hunting ground," where I would have thought like, "My daughter's there" would have been a very fun line, but whatever. Jacob Anderson then showed up, and yeah, so then they kind of just go their separate ways. Mm-hmm. And that's the last of we see them until the post credits when Jacob Anderson approaches In-Betweeners man, and he's like, "Have you seen Belle?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have, but it was a long time ago, or 5 seconds ago. I have no idea."
Yeah, there was no indication of how much time had passed, really. Cause,
yeah, but that was part of it, because he was
Yeah.
like, "Time's all weird now, isn't it?"
it reminds me of me at work.
Then you've written, "Save me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope."
Yeah, because she does a force. What?
A
The
hologram.
Yeah,
A
a hologram call. Yeah.
Yeah, she left a hologram message being like, "Oh, haha, I love you. And by the way, I'm going to go try and hunt down the prison person, the passenger, because, you know, there's a lot of people on there. Oh, by the way, I'm going to... Wait, I've ran out of time now. Oh, well."
Yeah. a really annoying trope in like movies or televisions when somebody's leaving a voicemail and they don't get to the important information, and then their call runs out and it's like, oh great, now there's a miscommunication. She could just call again.
Yeah, and Jacob Anderson... Well, she says at the start that she can only record this once for some reason.
Yeah.
And then...
Then she should have just given the important information straight away.
Yeah, like I'm going to this. If it runs out, I'm going to this bit. Anyway, I'm going there because of this, and, you know, say where you're going first, and then say why.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous, but, you know, can't blame Chibnall for doing a trope that's been in existence for like years.
Yeah, and then Jacob Anderson's like, "Oh, I'm coming to get you," as he walks off, and that's where the episode ends. I thought it was a really solid episode. Watching it, right, because this was written by Chris Chibnall and the lady that wrote the spooky episode last season.
Yes.
The one with the lone Cyberman, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of elements of that episode in here, like just the whole house element and all the weeping angels come and get them. Reminded me of that episode a lot.
I really giggled at myself thinking that she wrote all the angel parts and Chris Chibnall just wrote the Belle scenes, where he, like, they feel that disconnected though, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they feel very, very like watching two separate sci-fi shows at the same time.
I understand why it's done, but it just feels very disconnected. And just every time we got to the Belle scenes, I was like, oh yeah, we're still on this, okay.
Yeah. Although I have to say, I am really enjoying this series so far. Like, some people, I think it's a very mixed bag of a series for some people. But I'm enjoying it so far, and I think this was my favorite episode.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it too. I think last week's was probably the worst of the season so far, but it was still rather enjoyable. I just need some plot elements to pay off, and I'll see what I think about it in future.
Let's see what online forum thought, if it will ever load. Hang on. What would you rate this out of 10, Scott?
Probably like an 8.
An 8.
Or a 7.5.
Too late. I mean, don't get that specific. 1 to 10. Oh my goodness. So, the number 1 spot for this episode, 10 out of 10.
Damn.
35% 10 out of 10, 30% 9 out of 10, 17% 8 out of 10. People seem to be loving this episode, which I totally get. As I said, it's my favorite episode of Flux so far, but I wasn't expecting 10 out of 10s.
Yeah, I think it helps that it's a very back to basics kind of episode. We obviously have some complicated plot points, but it's not overwoven in the storyline like last week.
Yeah, everybody seems to be really, really enjoying it. Somebody went, dare I say, better than Blink, which I don't think it was better than Blink.
No.
But definitely the best Angel episode since then.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I think it builds on the lore of the Angels in a very interesting way that doesn't seem as dumb as when Moffat would do it.
Yeah, like the second time Moffat used the Angels, he made them move on screen, which I hated. And the third time he used the Angels, he made one of the Weeping Angels be the Statue of Liberty, which I hated. Whereas here, it feels natural. Everything feels like it fits with the Angels.
The whole time watching it, I was like, do not show that angel move. do not
Yeah.
show that angel move. Like, and some of the shots when they linger on the angels, I was like, don't move, don't,
Yep.
please. Like,
The only issue I have is, again, just one of the angels communicating with the man in his voice, but I'm presuming that's something that'll be explored later down the line. We still have like 2 episodes of this. We'll find out what happens.
I liked that part, but yeah, it's a very, very good episode of Doctor Who Flux. Only downhill from here, probably. That would
Hopefully
be my
not.
guess. Because what did the next time episode look like? I don't remember. It looks like it's going to be big sci-fi stuff again, doesn't it?
We have Dan and Jazz. They've been stuck in the past for 3 years now, so maybe there's some character development, but we'll see. You're shaking your head, no. And also we had Kate. I'm very surprised to
Oh,
see
yeah.
Kate.
Yeah. Which is very prescient because just last Friday we covered the 50th anniversary with Kate Lethbridge Stewart. So you should definitely check that out if you want to catch up on all of your Kate lore. It's good timing on our part. Very refreshed on her.
Yeah, we really enjoyed revisiting the 50th anniversary. It's a really good episode.
Yeah, so next week looks like it'll be big sci-fi followed by even bigger sci-fi. What's the chances that in episode 6 of The Flux we just get a very long monologue of exposition?
A very big chance, because that's how basically series 12 ended, with just the Master being like, oh, here's your childhood, Doctor. I'm going to explain your childhood to you for the next 40 minutes, Doctor.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't end up like that, though.
There's still so much we don't know, and we only have... What is The Flux?
Yeah.
The show's called Doctor Who Flux. We
you know,
still
but-
don't know what The Flux is.
I'm not as panicked as some other people are online. There's 2 hours left. That's plenty of time to tell the story. Most movies are 2 hours long, and they tell the story as a whole.
Most movies don't have Chibnall writing.
True. And if we don't get any answers next week, then I'll be worried. But I'm still optimistic. This is a good season so far. I'm hoping it ends.
Jodie's
good.
best season so far.
Yeah, definitely. Every episode has been great. Well, not good so far.
Every episode has been interesting.
Yes.
From interesting to good. I think, annoyingly, episode 2 and this most recent episode 4, are the better episodes of the series, and those are the grounded episodes. Those are the episodes where it decides it wants to take it slow and explore one idea, rather episode 1 and episode 3 were like, here's 50 ideas at once, go!
Yeah.
And if we've got 2 episodes coming up that are just going to be 50 ideas at once, it's going to bring the series down for me. But those grounded episodes were very, very good.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. We look back at this season and just be like, thank God it ended well. And we still have 3 specials to go as well. Maybe there's more plot points to be concluded in these specials. We'll find out. But fingers crossed it ends good.
I doubt it. My guess is the next special, the New Year's one, will be another Dalek one.
Yeah, that's very likely.
And then the special after that, maybe we'll do some Flux stuff, or not some Flux, some Timeless Child stuff. And then the special after that, she's regenerating. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. But I'm glad we're at least getting more hints about the Doctor's secret past.
Yeah, hopefully it'll get explained.
Hopefully, yes.
And they'll give us a definitive number. If they could be like, you've had 4 regenerations before the first Doctor, I could get on board with that. Or if they're just like the fugitive Doctor, she's the only one before the first Doctor. You only lived that one life. You grew up as a black lady. Cool, whatever.
What are the chances Big Finish are just sitting around every Sunday night being like, please save us like 10 Doctors that we could do spin-offs for. Please save us 10 Doctors.
Yeah, probably. Did you see the video message that Russell T Davies put out about his new Big Finish box set, because they've turned his old TV series into a Big Finish box set sequel thing? He had the line in it. He was like, because Big Finish can never let anything lie. They've brought it back.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I love Big Finish making themselves. out to be kind of like a joke, but I think their quality is still high.
They know that they are a niche within a niche.
Yes.
That like pull very specific characters for very complicated plot. Like they know what their target audience.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to get more into Big Finish. That's what I want to do in 2022. Just dive into more Big Finish and see what they have to, or hear what they have to offer, because we can't see it.
See with your inner eye. But I think that brings us to the end of this episode. You got anything else to say about this village of the angels that we haven't covered?
No, not at all. I think this is definitely the best episode of the Angels since Blink, and that was 14 years ago. That's pretty good. I'm happy.
Listen to our episode on Blink to find out how long ago it was.
Wait, do you have anything to say?
No, I thought this was a solid good episode. My favorite of the Flux so far. Favorite Angel episode in forever. Just very, very good all around, and I want them all to be like this, but I know they won't.
Yeah.
But what have we got coming up this Friday, Scott?
Oh, this Friday we've got our brand new news podcast. If you want to send us an email, we will cover it in the news podcast that we do at the end of the month every month. If you have any theories, we could cover those. If you have any opinions, we'll read them out. And
if somebody wanted to share their opinion with us, Scott, how would they go around doing that?
Send us an email at whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com, and we may read it out on the air, unless it's really nasty.
And then I'll read it out on the air. So we've got news coming up, and then after that we'll be following it with the Doctor Who Flux review. It's more Doctor Who Flux after that, and then the 9th Doctor set, and then there's no rest for us ever, is there? We're so busy.
No.
The 9th Doctor set, and then our Christmas special episode, which I'm very much looking forward to. So there's some good stuff coming your way. But until then, you can find us on Facebook at Who Watches Who, on Twitter at Watches Doctor, on YouTube at Who Watches Who. This podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to give us a review on your podcasting app if you do. Apparently that helps. I don't know. We've had a couple of good reviews so far. Maybe I'll read them out in the news. That'll give us something to do. But you can follow me on Twitter at Cloth223, and I think that's everything I needed to cover.
Yeah, that sounds like everything.
Awesome.
We'll see you on
Friday
for the news.
Bye-bye.